All right, so in goal 5.2, we are doing basically the same thing we did in 5.1, except that now you have two fractions. Some of the fractions have a multiplication symbol between them, like the first couple. Then we go to a division symbol between them. And the only difference between multiplication and division is that when you divide by a fraction, you flip the fraction after the division symbol. And I have that written in the notes up here. So flip the fraction after the division symbol. Once we factor, then we just cancel and reduce. So question number 1. If it doesn't have a sign, you can't factor it. So 9 just stays 9. Denominator, x minus 2. Does x minus 2 have a common factor? No. Is x minus 2 a difference of squares? No. So guess what? It's going to stay x minus 2. Is x squared minus 4, does it have a common factor? No. Is it a difference of squares? Yes. So then we go to our two parentheses. X squared, x times x. So remember, what makes a variable a square is just that the power is even. And then 4 is 2 times 2. So you know your squares, or you can go to your calculator and find your square. One gets a plus, one gets a minus. And then 3 is just 3. You can't ever do something if it only has one thing, no signs. And then we're ready to cancel out. So this matches that. So that cancels. And then 3 goes into itself once. 3 goes into 9 3 times. And then everything that's left is the answer. Now, you can write it over 1. That's not typically something we do, but if you did, I'm not going to mark it wrong. But we could write it without the 1 at the bottom. All right, example 2. X plus 3, first numerator. Is x plus 3, does it have a common factor? It does not. Is it a difference of squares? It is not. So it's going to stay x plus 3. On the bottom of that first fraction, 3x plus 1. Does 3x plus 1 have a common factor? No. Is it a difference of squares? No. It's going to stay 3x plus 1. Then I have 3 terms. Is there a common factor to all 3 of those? No. 3 terms then are trial and error, like from our test and our first quiz. So 3x squared is 3x and 1x. My signs are going to be the same, so I'm going to look in the middle, plus and plus. And then 2 is going to be 2 times 1. Now, we do have to check to make sure we did that correctly. So remember that that means we do this. Outer times outer, positive 6. Inner times inner, positive 1. And then that matches what I want, my positive 7. So we are correct. And then x plus 2 on the bottom. Does x plus 2 have a common factor? No. Is x plus 2 a difference of squares? No. It's got to have a power to be a square. And so then we go to cancel. Those are alike. So those are gone. And these are alike. So those cancel, leaving me just x plus 3. So you're factoring and you're canceling and your factoring, and your canceling. All right, next question, division. So let's be really careful here because this means we do have to flip this second fraction. All right, first numerator, x plus 5. So this is your process, every question. Is there a common factor? No. Difference of squares? No. So it's going to stay x plus 5. So everything with two terms, that's what you're looking for. A common factor or your difference of squares. All right, denominator, 3 terms. The 3-term ones are just going to go to 2 parentheses every time. So x squared is x and x, minus at the end, 1 of each sign. And then what can I do to get 14, but also 5 in the middle?
2 and 7.
2 and 7. So I want positive 5, so I'm going to go positive 7 and minus 2. Now here we have to flip this. So let's look at this here because that's what's going to go on top. So x plus 7, common factor? No. Difference of squares? No. So it's just going to stay x plus 7. And then my x squared minus 25 is going to come down. So common factor? No. Difference of squares? Yes. So again, what makes it square? Even powers, and then your squares, you either know them or you go to your calculator and look for them. So x squared is x times x. 25, 5 times 5, plus and minus. And then we look for like things. So x plus 7s are alike. Those are going to cancel. X plus 5s are alike. Those are going to cancel. Leaving me, now be careful because look where it's all left. It's all left on the bottom, which means it's got to stay there. And I'm going to scrunch this in. No, I'm not. I'm going to move this a little bit to the left side. What?
I've never seen that before.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool!
I didn't know you could do that.
Do what?
What I just did.
Oh, I just did it.
You can move.
You can do
You
what?
can move the
Like I
entire
can-
set of
I can
words.
lasso
Yeah,
it.
you
You've
can
done
do
it before.
Look, I just did that. Like,
Guys, I'm moving it.
It's the little things in life. It really is. Okay, so if they're left on the bottom, they gotta stay on the bottom.
No.
Which means then I have an understood one on the top.
I like this. Can you make it smaller? Oh yeah, you can.
You never played with Billy
No.
How are you just like?
no.
Okay, here we go. If there's any little magic tricks anybody wants to do as we're doing it, feel free. You gotta move stuff around or whatever you want to do with it. Okay, first numerator, 5x. There's no sign, so you can't do something with which doesn't have a sign, so it just stays 5x. Denominator, 3 terms, so go right to your parentheses. So x times x, my signs, look to the last term, need to be the same, so then look to the middle. And then for 4, am I going to use 4 and 1 or 2 and 2?
4 and 1.
Why?
Because they need to add together to get, or they need to add together to get -5.
Right, because you got to get 5. So I'm not going to use 2 and 2. I'm going to use 4 and 1. And then times, so we're going to be flipping this. X minus 1. Is there a common factor?
No.
Is it a difference of squares?
Yes. No.
No, because there's no exponent. So I can't do it. So it's just going to stay x minus 1. And then my 10x comes to the bottom, and I can't factor that. So I have x minus 1s are going to cancel because they look alike. Oops, I want a different color there.
Wouldn't it?
X's are going to cancel because they're alike. And then lastly, I can reduce my 5 and 10. 5 goes into itself 5 times, 5 goes into 10 2 times. And then always, after you cancel, don't make this answer hard, because whatever is not canceled, whatever is left is the answer. So on the top I have just this 1, and on the bottom I have an x minus 4 and a 2, and it really wouldn't matter if you wrote the 2 in the front or the back. It's the same thing. All right, next one, 20. I can't do anything that doesn't have a sign. So it stays 20. 12x plus 9. Is there a common factor?
Yeah.
Yes, 3.
3.
3. So 3 divided into 12 is 4. Bring the x over. And 3 divided into 9, 3. Oops. Times 8x plus 6. Is there a common factor?
2.
I can take out a 2.
I like 2.
And 2 divided into 8 is 4. Bring x over. 2 divided into 6 is 3. And in my denominator, my 5x.
So,
So we can cancel those. 4x plus 3's. What else do you think?
You do 5 and then
Good,
20.
good, good,
5
good.
and 20.
So 5 goes into itself once, and 5 goes into 20 4 times.
You can do 2 and 4.
They're both on the top though. No, that's a good question, a good wrong thing to say, because then I can tell you that. When they're both in the same spot, meaning both tops or both bottoms, you can't cancel. It has to be top to bottom, and it can be in the same or opposite fractions, but it's gotta be on the top and the bottom, okay?
Can
So-
you combine numbers?
And give me what?
6? I didn't see what you did.
What'd I do? I highlighted this,
Oh, yeah. You can
so
multiply.
I'm gonna get,
6.
somebody help him out. Hey, you're just adding them instead of multiplying them.
Oh, I thought
So I
you
was
could
hoping
do
you could
3 and 2.
So on the top, I would do my 4 times 2, 8. You just did 4 plus 2. And on the bottom, 3 times x.
Oh, I see.
So yes, to answer your question, yes, you would combine them, put them together, but they are being multiplied. Not
Okay.
that, yes.
Did you see?
Or
That was-
would they be divided if it was a division sign?
There wouldn't be, because, like when we do the divisions, we flip it and change it to multiplication, yeah. Okay, last one. Numerator, x squared minus 8x plus 15. So I'm gonna factor the 3 terms. So x squared, x times x. Positive at the end means same sign, so minus minus. And then 15, 5 and 3. Also gives me my 8. 3x minus 9. Is there a common factor?
3.
Yes.
I can take out a 3, yes. 3 divided into 3 leaves me just the x. And 3 out of 9 divided into 9 leaves me 3. Times, so we are going to be flipping this fraction because it's a division. Oops, I can't spell it. 6x comes to the top. And then x squared minus 25. Is there a common factor?
No.
No. Is it a difference of squares? Yes. So x times x, 5 times 5, plus minus. So I've got that with that. I got that with that. So those are gonna cancel. And then what else?
The 6 and 3.
6 and a 3, all right.
Yeah.
Say 3 goes into itself once, 3 goes into 6 twice. leaving me, anything that's left, up top, it looks like the 2 and the x, and on the bottom, it looks like the x plus 5.
Think so.
And that's it. So, just to sum up, for all the 2-term ones, it's either gonna have a common factor, difference of squares, or nothing. Common factor, difference of squares, nothing. So ask yourself, is there a common factor? Yes. If there is, take it out, you're done. If there's not, is it a difference of squares? If there is, factor it. If not, it stays the same. Everything with 3 terms is gonna go right to your 2 parentheses, because I didn't give you any that had common factors in them first. So all the 3-term things, you're gonna go right to parentheses, okay? All right, so you are doing OTL goal 5.2. I think there's 6, 8 questions maybe, 10, 6, 8, 10, I don't remember. Okay, we will, next class, so Tuesday, which is a shortened class again, but we will practice this a little bit, again on Tuesday, and then we will take a quiz on it Tuesday at the end. That's how we'll end class Tuesday with our goal assessment on 5.2, okay? That leaves us one more class, which we will then, I am gonna go to 5.3, which is, just builds on this lesson, okay? It's adding and then doing exactly this, okay? So we're gonna do that Thursday. I don't think I'm giving you a quiz on it though, but there is an exam question, okay? So, Thursday we'll finish that up next week, and then that next Monday is part 1 of your final. Okay, so remember, part 1 of our final is not on finals day. It's on the last day of class. So part 1 of our final on that Monday.